Hey guys, this video I'm going to be giving my full opinions of The Flash Season 8. This will be my last ever video of Flash Season 8. I don't plan on doing another video for the season. The rest of the Flash videos that I do from here on out will be over Season 9. Any news that we got or discussions I want to do, etc. Before we get into the video, there are timestamps on this video. I mean, go to the description down below, and it's under the section chapters. There'll be the intro part of this right now. This one is going to be split into 3 parts, which is the what I think are the good things, the neutral things, and the bad things Season 8. So if you want to skip around, you can do that. Or if you just want to watch the entire video, that's up to you. But for those who like to skip around using the timestamps, you can do that in this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button down below, subscribe for new, notifications on, let's get right into the review. So, like I said already, 3 different sections. Good things, neutral things, and bad things, in my opinion. I have a lot of good things, very few bad things, and some neutral things as well. And I'm giving my overall opinions of it as well. So, starting off with the good things, Season 8 was very Barry-centric, which is what I think we've needed since Season 3, but Todd Helping could never deliver. And Season 6A kind of brought that in, where it's more Barry-centric with Eric Wallace. And then COVID kind of came in and everything got, blown up, and it was just, no, that didn't work. But Season 8 was very Barry-centric. We got a lot of Barry being CSI, we got a lot of him being the Flash, and actually being more confident, which I'll bring up in a little bit too. But that was the first thing I thought of, because this season really had 2 graphic novels that were very Barry-centric. And the third one, which was the graphic novel, or the Deathstorm one, where Barry couldn't really stop the villain, but he was still a part of the graphic novel. He didn't just stop because he couldn't take care of him. We still saw him helping Team Flash shake down this big bad. Second thing was Iris being a reporter. We haven't gotten that in like forever, pretty much. And it wasn't just in Armageddon, it was also post-Armageddon too, with Central Citizen Media, with her and Allegra mainly working there together. It was really cool to see. I hope we get more in Season 9. Time Sickness finally being wrapped up. This whole thing started because of Candace Payne deciding to miss more days in attendance in Season 7, and it got wrapped up in Season 8, the finale, which I will continue to talk about in the, I think it's neutral and bad opinions, but the Time Sickness to get wrapped up. That's something that I've been wanting since it got introduced, because it's easily the worst side storyline of the show ever. But it did get wrapped up, and it's not being continued, thank God. And I think Eric Wallace knew that this is a horrible storyline, but they didn't know what else to do. So they had to go with it. Fourth point, villains that Barry can't stop right away and actually makes sense as to why. For example, Despero. Barry couldn't stop Despero because first off, he got his speed taken away, which is on him. He did that on purpose to stop Armageddon, what he thought would be Armageddon. Despero could read his mind. He tried tricking him with speed mirages. It didn't work. We saw him create a Speed Force shield, which is pretty cool in that final fight scene. With Deathstorm, Barry literally could not touch him. So, it made sense as to why the graphic novel worked. And it was very well done. Next point, nothing was really dragged out this season besides the Deathstorm story arc. The interludes weren't really dragged out in the episodes. The Armageddon and final graphic novel weren't dragged out any. But the Deathstorm arc could have been like a 1 episode shorter. I actually rewatched that arc, literally finished it before recording this video. Rewatching it, I didn't really have a problem with it, but I remember watching it live, and I did have a problem with it being 1 episode longer. It's not a big deal, but considering it wasn't too much dragged out as Lois was this season, it was far better than that. Next point I brought up, which I already said, was Deathstorm being stopped by Frost, since it made sense, and it did. It was good writing. It made sense that Barry can't stop the villain. He can't always do that. No matter how powerful Barry is, there's always going to be that one villain that Barry legitimately cannot stop because they're way too powerful for Barry. So we need Team Flash, whoever has powers, in this case it was Frost, to mix and match with that villain to be able to stop him. It made sense. It was the only way that could work, And the writers made it work, and Eric Wallace did an amazing job at that. And the actors did too. Next point, Chester's storylines were pretty good. I liked Chester a lot this season compared to season 6 and 7. I didn't really care about him in season 6, and season 7 kind of, it got a little bit better, but it was also a little bit worse. But season 8, we really dove deep into Chester and actually having him work with Barry in the field, like when he's doing CSI work. I really liked that, and I really do hope that continues in season 9 as well. Barry having more confidence in himself, doing more with his power, and not relying on Team Flash all the time. For example, when he rolled out lightning, he came up with that on his own. He was in the field chasing Deathstorm, and he came up with it on his own. When he fought the Royal Flush Gang, he didn't ask Team Flash how to stop him. He just went into Flash time and took them all out. When he was fighting Thawne, he didn't sit there and wait for Team Flash to talk to him in his ear about how to stop him. He went with it. He went with his gut. He followed what he believes is the right thing to do with his power, and he used it correctly. That's the Barry I have been wanting to see since the pilot, or at least season 2 at max, and we never got that. Even when Barry was way faster in season 4, 5, 6, and 7, this was that season where we finally got a confident Barry. Not overly confident, but confident enough in his power to know what he's doing. That is what I've always wanted to see on this show. Next point, Mad Stone returning and it making sense in him getting super speed from Mina when Barry decided to share Mina speed with Mad Stone, which this Thawne is from the original Flashpoint that was in Legends that died, but the Timer saved him, but then when it appeared in Legends 7, but then died again, and now we're seeing the Timer saved him, and now he's in our timeline, or he was, because he died, but it worked pretty well, because obviously Thawne's been known to never die, right? So, to keep that going, it just worked. It works with the character development, because you see him going from Flashpoint to Legends and dying, to coming back to life in Legends again, to now coming back to life in the Flash, and then dying again, but coming back as Tom's Thawne. Even though it's not the same exact Thawne, it's still a Thawne, and Thawne's always coming back from the dead, right? That's his character. It worked pretty damn well. It was pretty ironic, too, if you really think about it. But it was really cool to see, and I'm really glad we got Matt Stone back. Next point, Mina Dawn's story in connection to the last graphic novel. Her character was amazing. I loved Mina. I hope we get more of her. Just as Mina, I don't think it'll happen as Fast Track, but just her suit was amazing. Her character development was amazing. Her relationship with Matt Stone was amazing. Those two have great chemistry on screen. It was just amazing to see. And Barry being a mentor to me, which is actually my next point. After 8 years, Barry knows how to be the Flash, right? He knows how to be a speedster. He knows how to use his powers more and more. He needs to be a mentor to new speedsters, and Mina was the first example of that. So it was a full circle moment with Oliver teaching Barry and Wells Bard teaching Barry in season 1 how to use his speed, and over the course of the past 8 years, new people coming in, teaching him new things. It was about damn time we got Barry being a mentor to someone who's a speedster, and not like Cisco or Frost or Ralph at the point in time, but a speedster, and that person was Mina. Yeah, we kind of saw that with Wally, but Wally kind of just went on his own path. Same with Jesse, a little bit here and there. Barry did teach him a little bit, but not much. Compared to Mina, Barry was basically by Mina every point in the way, making sure she wasn't going to go full psycho, because, it was another Speed Force we're dealing with. Next point, Iris being gone for 4 episodes. The reason I put that down was it actually caused more Barry scenes, which was needed at the point in time. In the last graphic novel, we really needed it to be Barry-centric. We didn't need Team Flash every 5 minutes. We didn't need Barry and Iris. We needed Barry. It was that type of graphic novel. And with Iris being gone for 4 episodes, it was one of the best episodes in the entire season, honestly. Not saying the other episodes were bad, they really weren't, besides A16, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But the fact that it was so Barry-centric made that last graphic novel easily the best graphic novel of the entire season, for me. Second best being Armageddon, and third being the Deathstorm arc. I think those 3 story arcs are easily the best 3 graphic novels, or just the story arcs alone of the entire show, but especially Armageddon and the last graphic novel. It's All Negative, I think it was called. But nonetheless, next point, Armageddon was amazing. It felt like a classic Flash, you know, it felt like a season 1 vibe-ish thing, but it also added that season 8 flair too, which we needed, which certain episodes failed to put in. I'll talk about that later. But especially the last graphic novel too, like I already said, it really did bring that back, and it brought it back to, you know, new stuff and not repeated bullcrap. Everything season 6, everything since season 6, meaning season 6A, B, season 7A, season 7B, and all season 8, all got wrapped up in season 8. Whether or not most of it connected properly, it did get all wrapped up, and I'm glad they did that, because some shows like to keep stuff going for years and years and years. Eric Wallace did a good job at wrapping it all up in 820. Next point, Thawne being on Lian Yu after Barry taking away his speed in 805. That was really smart by Barry, and kudos to the writers for that one, because putting him in Argus, that's pretty dumb, right? Just a random Argus facility in Central City or even Star City or Keystone. I mean, Thawne's broken out of that several times, so what's the best possible way to keep Thawne away from everything? Put him on a deserted island in North China Sea, you know? Put him in Oliver's prison with, you know, whatever. He doesn't have his powers, it's fine. You know what I mean? It works pretty damn well. Obviously, he got out because of Dion, or negative Dion, but it still worked to the point where even if someone broke Thawne out, he didn't have his speed, right? It would have been a pain in the butt to get him off that island, especially without Barry not knowing. So it was very well done to see Thawne and Lian Yu, and I'm very glad it worked out for that. Next point, Barry being a CSI and doing CSI work while still being the Flash. We saw both a lot this season, which is something that Todd Helbing had trouble with on the Flash in the early seasons, especially Superman and Lois, with Clark and Lois, especially Clark. I mean, he's just Superman all the time, unless he's a dad. I mean, that's it. He doesn't have a job. They're trying to get him to do that, but Todd doesn't want to do anything. But nonetheless, like, you know, we actually saw Barry doing his actual human job and not just being a superhero 24/7 like we saw in the past 7 seasons, which I really, again, do hope it continues in season 9. Next point, XS and Bart being helped throughout the season. I'm glad we got a lot of them back this season, or we got them back a lot of the times this season, and I'm very glad we got a very XS and Bart-centric episode, which is 806. That same episode was like got Eddie back. It was very nice to see Eddie. I know we got him back in 812 or 811 on the Death Star mark, but it was very, very cool to see him again, and I hope he can return to season 9. Hopefully he does. Next point, interlude episodes this season were pretty damn good. Way better than season 7's and whatever season 6's were. Besides A16, which I'll talk about A16 when we get down to the bad opinions. Barry and Thawne's massive final fight with the Force powers in the 820. I really loved that fight scene. It was new, it was original. It wasn't the same condescending BS speedster fight. It was new. That's what we needed. That's what the season has brought. And it delivered. I know a lot of people didn't like that fight scene because it wasn't long enough or whatever. I think it was long enough for that episode, considering we know that the city literally got destroyed during that fight. But Barry managed to restore it all from that fight as well. So it did work out. It wasn't just, oh, they're fighting, nothing's happening. We cut to Iris, Joe, Jay, and Joanne. It's legitimately, they're fighting for like 20 minutes. There's no way that could have ever been the show, even if they wanted it to be, due to 1, CGI, and 2, the other stories need to be wrapped up. I'm glad it was executed the way it was. I'm very happy with how it ended and the final conclusion of that fight. It was very cool, very new, very fresh. And I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I did. Next point, Barry killing Iris with his own lightning, which is just jaw-dropping, at least for me, and then Tom ripping Matt's face off and becoming Tom Thawne again in 819. It was an amazing cliffhanger. Everyone's acting was amazing. We go to 820. Grant's acting was just amazing in that scene as well. But I really want to put that in there because that was just pure, like, amazingness right there. Again, fresh, new, something we've never seen before on the show, and it was right out of the comics too, kind of iffy. Except there was, I think, Wally's face being ripped off Thawne's face. That was Barry's, I don't remember, but Wally or Barry's. It was a Flash, I don't remember if the Wally's or Barry's. Barry decided to save Thawne in 805 because that's what heroes do. We've seen several times throughout the show that Barry will not kill. If he can save a life, he's going to do it. And I know a lot of people hated that Barry made a decision to save Thawne, and that was for writing purposes. It wasn't. It made sense as to why Barry saved Thawne. Now, Barry let Thawne die in 820 because he was tipping the scales. There was no way that Thawne wasn't going to die during that fight. Barry wasn't going to kill him. I mean, they had the Force's power. It was kind of obvious that Thawne would die in that scene, or that Barry would. One of the two definitely would die. However, in 805, it was Thawne being erased from the timeline, and they needed to save him. Not only that, because the CCPD knew, and if they found out that Barry let someone die, they more likely wouldn't trust him again. And that's the whole thing that I went into another video. Next point, Jay being alive in the future again, which is very nice to see, and also Jay returning in the finale. Next point, Barry stopping random crimes in under a minute during the Death Star Mark Armageddon with the Royal Flush Gang and the Interlude episodes. We saw a lot of that this season. Barry just running in, stopping random crimes. It was amazing to see, and it was very well done with every single one of those bits. It was just so well done, and I'm very glad we got a lot of those. Kramer having a lot of character development, like how her powers work and her being the captain of CCPD, and helping out during the Death Star Mark and Armageddon and working with Barry in early episodes as well. We got to learn how her powers actually work, like in Armageddon we learned that. And, you know, her finding out Barry's a Flash and all of that, it really did work out. In 808, we learned that Henry's birthday was February 1st. It was a really good episode with Barry going through a lot, dealing with Hotness returning, which is amazing to see him. And overall, it was a very good episode, but getting that little tidbit information that we never got on the show before, very glad we got that. Joe and Barry's moments are always amazing. They've always been that way, but I think in season 8, it really went up a couple levels. Not like season 2, season 1, Barry and Joe levels, but it was still the classic Barry and Joe talk that we all know and love. Next point, finding out Barry is still not fully over Oliver's death. We found that out in one of the Death Star Mark episodes. I think it was the last one, or second to last. We also found out that Barry, you know, hasn't fully dealt with, I think it was HR's death and the other timeline, Nora's death, when she died to the timeline in season 5. But one of the main things that stuck out to me was Barry never got over Oliver's death. And I really loved that scene. Grant's acting was amazing as always. So I'm really glad they put that in there. Damien Dark returning to Armageddon and working with Barry and helping Iris in 820. I know we were all hyped up for a cameo in 820 thanks to Daniel Nicolay. But it was Damien Dark. I know we were all kind of disappointed in that after all the hype. But at the same time, it was Damien Dark. He was really cool to have back. I'm really glad we got him back again for 2-3 times this season. It was really cool to have him back, and I hope he returns season 9. I don't know how, but, you know, because we don't have time stuff anymore. But there could always be a new reverse flashpoint or whatever that happens, changing the timeline and all that. So hopefully that... I would love to get Damien back at one point. The reverse flashpoint was a very cool thing to do during Armageddon, because it made sense, it worked with the writing. It fit Thawne very damn well, with why he would do all this. And it just, again, it worked pretty damn well. Ray Palmer being in a few episodes for cameos. He was in Armageddon a few times. He was in 818, I think it was, alongside Diggle as well, which Diggle's story being wrapped up, which is my next point, was also very nice to get because we were just being dragged down. It was nice to get wrapped up. The CGI being pretty damn good this season. Not the best, but it was definitely the better moments of the entire show. So I'm glad we got all that. The new lightning effects, like, you know, Barry's new lightning, and with Mina's as well. Just new lightning. It was very cool to see during the season 8. The gold boots, making this suit the best live-action suit of the Flash we've ever gotten, and we will ever get, period. But the gold boots are so amazing. I love that they managed to show that off in the show more and more and more and more. Because I was kind of worried about that, like his boots. You know, we didn't really see his boots prior, but I'm glad we got a lot of that now, and it wasn't just, oh, let's show Barry's boots for no reason. Like, no, like, we got to see his boots during scenes that actually, you know, worked pretty damn well. the writing seriously advances season 8. Yeah, there were some iffy moments which we'll get into right now, but the writing had seriously advanced compared to the last 7 seasons. Going into the neutral things, or what I think are neutral things, as in, they weren't good, they weren't bad, they're just meh. Like, they weren't the best, but they weren't bad either. Time sickness / negative forces explanation for happening has some plot holes in it. As in, this all started in season 7, but they're saying that it started in Armageddon when Barry took Thawne's speed away. That may have been the original point, but considering they made it earlier due to Kenneth Payne missing, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it because it was kind of just a last minute thing. They needed something in, and they put that in there. I don't blame the writers. I don't blame Eric Wallace, nor do I necessarily blame Kenneth Payne. She needed a break, but at the same time, there's something you really could have done there. I think it was wrapped up beautifully with the time sickness and the negative forces being explained. I think it worked out pretty damn well. I wish Jay had more screen time with Barry. We only got one scene with them in the finale. I wish we got more screen time with them. I love seeing those two on screen together. I think we all do. But it made sense as to why they weren't. Barry was seeing with Thawne, and then Jay went, well, no, we got a scene with them in the loft, but it would have been nice to get more of Barry and Jay in the field, especially when Bear, Bart, Excess, and Mina were all fighting Thawne. It would have been cool to kind of see Jay there as well. I wish we got more Kramer in later episodes. Goldfirst returning, I didn't really care for, but the episode was still great. I think it was 807. Kaylee and Marcus' relationship was alright, but we didn't get much of it. Obviously, they broke up because of the Deathstorm thing, and Kaylin's going down this path, which I'll bring up in a minute. Bad things, season 8. Team Flash not trusting Barry. It's been 8 years. I know we have new members, but they've been on for at least 2 to 3 years, most of them. And they still don't trust Barry. I mean, 808, they didn't trust Barry at all when he thought Hotness was innocent. And, there needs to be this new thing here in season 9 where Team Flash actually listens to Barry and trusts him and knows what he's doing. Next point is Seal being a pain in everyone's butt 24/7 with her favorite line, "I can feel the emotion pouring off of you." It's annoying. Next point, in episode 816, the episode where Barry aged. The whole story happened due to Barry not being able to outrun the explosion that he saw go off. He didn't even try running away from it, which was lazy writing, and a classic season 1 vibe to it, which is great. But for season 8, that never should have happened. 816 is the worst episode in the entire season, in my opinion, due to it just took away everything in season 8 that we had developed for Barry and just threw it all down the toilet and said, we're going back to season 1 vibes, we're going to deal with Barry not being able to run from the explosion, he's going to age, he's going to go fast in the Mach 10, and that's it. It was just lazy, and there was even a running scene that was reused from season 4, and you saw the season 4 scene if you pause it correctly. It was lazy. Maybe it's because Katie Loss is directing? I don't know, but it was pretty damn lazy. Next point, Caitlin trying to bring Frost back. This is the most annoying storyline in the entire season, next to the Seals crap. It was just borderline dumb. I don't get why they did this. I get that they're trying to bring in a new Frost, and it might work out in the long run, but right now with what we got, I do not like that storyline at all. I wish I never did that. I get why Caitlin wants to do it. Like, Frost is literally her, she treated her as her own sister, but... And I guess she died, but it's kind of pointless for a storyline. I'm glad we didn't get much of it. I'm glad they didn't waste time on that. They focused on the more important things like Barry and the last comic novel, but I don't really care for that storyline. Chill Blame, aka Chill Lame, as I'm going to keep calling him if he's in season 9. I didn't really care for Mark. He's also going to appear in season 9 because of the Caitlyn stuff, but I didn't really care for him. I never have. There are some parts of season 8 where I was like, okay, he's alright, but most of the time it was like whatever. So my overall opinion is season 8. Season 8's my favorite season in the entire show. Due to it feeling like a whole new show, everything pretty much making sense. The writing was great, acting is improved for everyone. Grant has always been amazing, but he really gave his all this season. You can tell that from the premiere all the way to the finale. Even in A16, which, again, I don't like the episode, but you can still tell that Grant had a lot of fun during the episode nonetheless. The vibe was amazing every week. Yeah, there were some bad moments, but overall, the good overweighed the bad. And it's called The Flash, and this season really showed that. When we got Barry really being heavily focused on actually being the Flash and not, you know, Team Flash, you know, deal with this, help Barry do this and that and that and that and that. It was still very Barry-centric, and it worked out very, 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 very well. So again, season of my favorite season. Thank you guys for supporting me throughout season 8. It's been a really good year for the channel. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get even more of you in season 9. Even though I'm already starting season 9 content, but you know what I mean. When season 9 comes back in 2023. Whether or not it's the last season, I really hope it's not. I think season 8 redeemed the show. I think a lot of us think that. I just think if the Iris stands go away, you know, we'll be good. But nonetheless, yeah, again, thank you guys for all the support during season 8 of The Flash. It's been a crazy ride, but we got through it, obviously, so thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. Have a good day, have a good night, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.